Welcome to today's discussion. And we are going to be talking about a very, very important topic. We always undergo decisions in life, but we've never just taken time and analyzed, the kind of decision we make. So today I would like us to talk about the psychology of decision making, why we hesitate before becoming. You know, in life, as we grow up, we have become. We were children, grew up, scrolled, walked until we had the capability to run, make decisions. And so along the way, we have been making decisions as adults, as professionals. But what is the psychology of decision making and why we hesitate before becoming who we really wish to be? So the question is, think about the biggest decision you've ever made in your life. What made you finally say yes? Because before you make a decision, there's something that propels you, motivates you towards you making that decision. So what is this thing that made you to make that decision? Most of the time, we are influenced by several things, and let's look at them. In our day-to-day decision making, we focus on so many things. One of them is advice from someone. You want to buy something, you will definitely go and consult a person who has ever done the same thing. And then this person will confirm to you that, yes, it was a good idea. I bought it. It helped me. So through that advice, you will make a decision based on suggestions from someone else. Money. At times, we want to buy things. We want to make a decision that concerns money. When you have the money, the decision making will be easier. When you don't have the money, there will be hesitance in terms of deciding when or how you can buy that particular thing. Majority, when I ask people, and we've gone around asking people what propels them to making a decision, they say faith. Because I believe it is possible, then I have faith that I can buy it. I have faith that I can make a certain decision. Huge decisions, small decisions, medium decisions. People make those decisions simply because they hold some faith towards the decision they're making, whether it is positive or negative. Another aspect is fear. You have been presented an opportunity, but because of the fear inbuilt in you, you feel like, no, making a decision towards the opportunity, you feel like you're losing. You feel like it's a risk you are taking, that the fear built in you is because of the loss you're likely to make. Family. Most of us go to work, look for jobs, opportunities, businesses, not because of our own interest, but it's because of the interest of the family, because we work so that we can earn a living for the family. We can buy food for the family. We can make our family live a better life. And another aspect is the experience. You know, should you be presented an opportunity, an idea, if you have experience over it, you will make a quick decision towards the opportunity or towards the information. But if you don't have an experience, you definitely hesitate and ask yourself, no, 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 is it the right thing? Is it a good thing? And that ties hand in hand with an opportunity. You may be in need of a certain opportunity, but you don't have it. The moment it presents itself, it is easier and faster for you to make a decision towards it, unlike when it is not there. Passion. In most of our errands that we do, the jobs we do, the businesses we run, some of them are out of passion. We just love what we do. And hence, because that is what we like doing and that's what we enjoy doing, we end up making a decision towards it. And the other thing is education. The moment you have knowledge about something, the moment you're educated about something, it is easy for you to make a decision towards it. Last but not least is timing. You have been wanting to do something. The time has just presented itself that that thing, you have everything that it takes for you to make a decision towards it. So the timing is fit into whatever decision you are about to make. Hence, you'll make the right decision. And lastly is the risk. Most of our decisions are influenced by the risk attached to it. If you are about to make a decision and the risk is too huge, then you will hesitate because not everyone wants to make a decision that he knows very well the potential of losing is high, or the mind is telling you that you will lose, you're not gaining, hence the risk, you're taking a risk. But there are those who are so resilient in a way that they go for those risks. The moment they identify a risk, that is what gives them an opportunity, for them to make a decision. So these are just but different areas where we do make decisions and areas that influence our decision making. Okay. Now, uh, when making an important decision, what is the one thing you trust the most? We do make decisions and we consider several options when we're making decision, as we looked at the previous topic, family, trust, or opportunity, risk involved. But what is this one thing that propels you in making those decisions? People make decisions because of something that has pushed them. We call them propellants or propellers. Majority of people will tell you, I prayed about it. And that's why I made that decision, because they were convicted inside their heart that after praying for a certain decision and making that decision, then they believe that is going to happen. So that is one thing they trust. Others who are a bit reserved will tell you, for me, I have to look at the logic. You're presenting to me a business. You're telling me I'm going to make this amount of money, but your story and the reality I foresee in my mind are not making sense. So there's no logic. So that by itself will make them deter themselves from making a decision towards the business you're presenting. Or they connect the dots. They're like, I've been working for the past 15 years. I've never saved anything for my family. And I'm about to retire, but then I'm still not making ends meet. But the business being presented to me makes sense. Has a logic inside it that I just need to put in a few hours. I don't have to report to anyone. I don't have to go to anyone's office, but then I will make money. That looks logical. So people make decisions based on the logic, while others touch emotions, and they always say impulsive decision making is based on emotion. What you feel about the information ahead of you or the information you're receiving. Should you feel emotionally attached to the information, then it means you will make a decision towards it. Should you feel the contrary, should you not feel pulled towards the information, then the emotion will deter you, will pull you away from that decision. And others go out there, make research. They go to the social media, you go to YouTube to just find out the information about it before you make a decision, which is a good thing. Others have experience. So because you've gone through for the past 5 years or 3 years, you've known about the information, then making a decision does not become a hassle because you already have the information and you know what decision you're likely to make. We rely on our friends. We call it a word of mouth. If a friend, close friend, neighbor comes to you and tells you, I have come across this information and it seems like it's a good thing to us, you tend to believe that friend simply because it's coming from a point of information, point of trust. The fact that he's a good friend to you, you trust him, then you tend to buy every information he tells you, and hence it influences your decision making. Some of us are influenced by parents. We so believe so much in our parents that they have taken care of our life when we were young, and hence we have built that relationship. And we believe that since they have been taking care of us from the childhood up to where we are today, you feel like anything coming from your parent is so important that you need to consider, would give attention, give an ear, and hence it propels you from making a decision towards it. But it's not everybody that listens to the parents. There are others that will actually now make a decision opposite to what the parents is telling them, based on the experiences at the same time. Probably your parents have gone through a certain difficult life, and hence you feel like you want to change the life they are living. And so anything you feel they're telling you will relate to the life they have been living, and you want to be different, hence you decide differently. Again, that is an influencer to our decision. Some of us just believes the gut feeling. I just feel like, yes, it's a good thing. Or I just feel like, no, no, this is not a good thing. And because of that, the gut feeling propels how we make a decision. We've talked about research, and others are informed by data. The more you research, the more you accumulate data, you are able to analyze, you are able to draw out information and report and a sequence of a certain information you get, and hence it influences your decision making. And finally, expertise. Experts do make decisions based on their experience, based on their knowledge, based on the information they have at hand. However, some who are not experts will either tend to consult the experts, which falls into the friendship, or it falls into the expert. You go for somebody you think has better knowledge about the information that will help you make the right decision. Psychologists tell us that none of us make decisions purely rationally. Every decision is influenced by something. One, emotions. Whenever we get information, we attach our emotion. And then how our emotions are driving us will determine how we make that decision. Two, experience. When you have knowledge about something, you are strongly believing that that knowledge will help you make the right decision or will help you make a decision. It will be probably because of the experience of a negative happening, you'll make a negative decision based on that negative experience. However, there are those who have a good experience. You've gone through a certain situation. It was good. You evaluated your learnings. And then you're like, yes, I went through this. This is how I decided. And hence, because it has repeated itself, I can also make decisions just the way I made it previously. And hence, experience helps you make the right decision. Thirdly, fear. Any moment information comes our way, opportunity comes our way, we don't focus on to the relevance of the opportunity. We focus on what if, what about. So the what if tends to correspond negatively with the information at hand, or we start questioning, yes, this information is in this particular manner. What of if it turns out to be the opposite? Then now it inflicts fear into us, and that fear directs us towards making a decision. And lastly is the hidden mental shortcuts. Hidden mental shortcuts, these are just things that talk into our mind, telling you, yeah, that thing is good, yes, but look at it, this other side. It is just a derailer. We call it the second voice that speaks to us. We always have two voices. The first voice is too loud, but too weak. The second voice is so slow, but very strong. So the strongest voice is telling you, go for it. The loudest voice is telling you, no, 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 wait a minute. That is a hidden mental shortcuts. So it's just taking the opposite of whatever your slow, strong voice is telling you. And hence, if you tend to listen to it, then you will definitely make a decision about it. Now, imagine you have been proposed 500,000 to be given to you. All of us are working, all of us are looking for money. But then here you get an opportunity that you're presented $500,000. If we start converting into local currency, definitely that's huge money. Probably some of us have just been dreaming to getting such over time, but then it has been presented to you, and you are told the only condition is that tomorrow you must leave what you are currently doing. If there's a business you are running today, or if it's a job you are employed somewhere, you must leave and start your own business. So this is an opportunity you are given, and you are told, make that decision first before you're given the money. Probably take a minute and think about it. What will you do? Will you accept the offer, 500,000 USD, and quit what you're currently doing? Or will you refuse the offer and continue doing what you're doing today? And why? So let's see some of the uh, suggestions that came across. So this one is going to help us understand the why behind every decision we make. Why do we make those decisions? Most people will say, I will accept the offer because I fear how my future is today. Some will say, because of uncertainty of tomorrow, I'm looking for money, I'm not getting it, the economy is not doing well, I will take the offer. Others will say, because of the family, family needs, and, I'm looking for money, I will take the offer. Some will correspond to their income. I'm earning very little and I don't know if I'll ever make, $500,000 at once like this. So because of my little income, I will go for it. Others will say, the world is too risky. My business I'm running today is very risky and I don't get to earn or get enough money to sustain my family, to sustain my needs. And because of the risk involved into my business, and I've been presented $500,000, that's a good thing. I will take it and move forward. But someone else will say, I don't believe it. I don't have confidence into the offer. Just like that, who will ever give you $500,000 from nowhere? They will start questioning. They will start inflicting other contrary opinion. Because you're offering me $500,000, that is huge money for anybody to just give you for free. Are you getting this money right? Are your ways of earning correct? So they'll prefer no, because they lack confidence in the offer. They'll tell you no, you stay with your $500,000. I will still continue earning my $20 every day. However, some will say, because I don't have knowledge, just like I've said, I don't have knowledge on your ways of getting that money. I cannot just take that offer. Because of lack of knowledge, either they will refuse the offer or they will say, I don't have enough knowledge to run a business. I don't have enough knowledge to run a managerial position that will earn me more. So because of lack of knowledge, I will take the offer. Those are reasons behind us making a decision. But then that particular exercise is just helping us think and reflect towards why we make those decisions and things that influence us making the same decisions. Okay? Now, sorry. So, based on the offer and the whys that we have seen that propels our decision making, let's proceed and see. You will notice that the offer was one, everyone. But based on the exchange and the opinions that highlighted up there, we realized that the difference was not the money, because the money is the same, but people will look at it in a different way. People will question the money itself. People will question the offer. Thus will lack information to internalize the offer. Thus will just fear. It's just fear of what is happening today, so they will take the offer. So people will make decisions differently. Some will take the offer, some will refuse the offer, and everybody has a reason why they are taking the offer or refusing the offer. This whole thing is brought about by psychology. So the difference is psychology, not just the offer, not the money. How people are psychologically thinking about that idea of them making a decision. And that will influence their decision making. That is the psychology of decision making. Now, what is decision making? What is decision making? It's a good question that we can ask ourselves. Decision is the mental process of choosing between alternatives after evaluating possible outcomes. You are given an information, you are given an opportunity, and then you reflect through it, you think through it, you evaluate, and come out with possible outcomes. Those outcomes are the decision. But let's look at the simple formula towards us making a decision and the effect of the decisions we make. So the first thing is that you get the information, you get the opportunity, you get the offer. Just like I've presented 500,000 USD dollar offer. That is information. Then using that information, you think through it. That is the alternative evaluation. You think through it and you think through it and you figure out the possible outcomes. As you think through it, you ask yourself questions. You're developing emotions. So emotions come in after thinking through it because as you think, you're asking yourself questions. Those questions propel your emotions. Now, depending on which side of emotion you are strongly convicted to, either positive or negative, it will now affect the decision you're making. Just like the offer, 500,000, those who are for it will take it. So their emotion was happy, joyous because they have gotten an offer they've been looking for and they've never gotten it. Some will say, no, 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 no. Nobody in this world will just offer you 500,000 USD just like that. That is not a straightforward person. And hence the emotion will be negative, meaning the decision they'll make is not to take the offer simply because they are negatively affected into the thought process they went through, into the information that is made available. The decision will be negative. And now, the moment you make either a negative decision or a positive decision, it still affects your action. What you will do towards that decision you have made. The offer is 500,000 USD. I have decided I will take it. Then once I take it, definitely I will, use the money to benefit me, to benefit people around me, and to benefit my family. That is a positive decision. Look at it in a negative decision. The money, the way of getting money of $500,000 is questionable. Hence, if I'm given that money, I'll be lured into, whatever things he's doing. So then for me to be safe, I'll take a backseat and not take the offer. Emotion, decision. I have decided not to take the offer of 500,000 USD. Action, there will be no action because I will actually run away from that offer as far as possible. The result is I will not get the money. I will not change my life. I will not improve my future. Even though we work to change our lives, when opportunity presents itself and comes our way, we don't focus on the opportunity. We start again asking ourselves questions. Why is this opportunity coming to me? Really, that is the psychology of decision making. Now, let us look at something else. Why making decisions feels difficult? Just like the example we have gone through, it actually feels difficult because instead of just focusing on the opportunity, instead of just focusing on the information laid ahead of you, we start questioning that information. Making a decision is hard, yes. The brain tends to avoid uncertainty because it prefers familiar patterns over the mental effort of making decisions. Decision making involves a known outcome. If you are a strong decision maker, you will not focus on a known outcome. You'll make a decision based on the information at hand. Possible losses. We tend to start focusing on losses that is likely to be met with the opportunity we have at hand, with the information we have at hand. And hence, instead of making a decision towards the information, we make a decision against the information simply because we fear, we think there'll be losses. We fear that we don't want to regret thereafter. Even though that fear has not presented itself, it is something we put in our mind that I cannot go this route because I don't want to regret later. Or probably we just don't want to fail. We don't want to be considered as failures. So because an opportunity has been presented to us, the information is so positive about a business, about an opportunity. I don't want to be in the record of failures. So I fear failure. So I will decide against the information I have at hand. And we appreciate so much on the social life, what people will say about me, what people will judge me. And that by itself, we don't consider the opportunity, the information ahead of us. We make a decision based on a social judgment. What will people say about me? How will I be looked at in the society? That by itself enhances our decision making against the information we already have. Imagine. Responsibilities drive our decision making. If you have responsibilities ahead of you that are paining your head and you're wondering how you'll overcome, you tend to make that decision towards the responsibility you have. But some people who don't have responsibilities don't get influence so much about decision making. And let's think about what the brain tells us. The brain asks, what if I fail? At this point, we're not focusing on the opportunity. We're not focusing on the information. It is just in its own world saying, what if I fail? Yes, the information is so positive, so convincing. What if I fail? That instead of asking, what if I succeed? The moment we start thinking positive, our mind will drive ourselves positively and will make a positive decision. Hence, let us always be asking ourselves, what if I succeed? The psychology behind business decision is one of them is fear of loss. You fear that you don't want to get losses. Humans naturally fear losing more than they enjoy gaining. A loss of $70, for example, a loss of $100 feels very terrible. But what if this $70 is giving you financial freedom? Will you focus on the financial freedom or will you focus on the loss of the $70? Average mind always think about the loss and not the opportunity that is being brought by the spending the $70. Financial freedom sounds good, yes, but not as strong as losing $70 because losing $70 is real. I have lost it. Financial freedom is about tomorrow, which I can't touch it, I can't feel it. And because the mind is only focusing on the certainty, it will derail you from spending the $70 for the purpose of getting your freedom tomorrow of the financial freedom. That is the average mindset. This explains why some candidates say no to opportunities. You say no to a business venture. You say no to an initiative simply because you are thinking about the capital you are putting into that business will go at a loss. You're not thinking about that capital will help you now generate more. It is just to help you start the business. And once you start the business, you will generate more. The psychology behind business decision making, another aspect of thinking, looking at it is the analysis paralysis. Too much information creates no action. You might have a lot of information, but that information will not create an action. Some people spend years reading books, watching YouTube, attending seminars to gather information. But what do they do thereafter? They never start. If you're attending seminars of a business venture, if you're reading books towards how to start a business, how to generate money, if you're watching YouTube about examples of people who have done a similar business and have thrived, yet you don't start, is useless. It's not helping you Because knowledge without action becomes another comfort zone. The moment you have knowledge and you don't act onto that knowledge, you don't put it into practice, you are in the comfort zone. And that brings us to another element, comfort zone bias. Our brains love certainty, not uncertainty. Our brain only wants to and react based on the things they see, feel. If an information is presented or opportunity is presented and the brain cannot really touch, feel, or correspond to the possibility, it will definitely always tell you no. An average salary feels safer than uncertain business. You're earning 100,000. You are sure about it. You are confident about it. You know at the end of the month you will get. It feels better than you starting a business with 100,000, aiming to progressively build that profit to making more than 100,000. If I tell you you can start a business with that 100,000, and within 3 years' time, you'll be making 1 million every month, you will not believe it because it looks like a story. That's what the mind will tell you. But you, as an individual who is entrepreneur oriented, who is a business oriented, you don't need to listen to that because our brain thinks normal, thinks average. The brain says, the salary I know is better than the millions I don't, simply because it is putting you into the comfort zone. Status quo bias. People prefer remaining where they are, not because it is better, because it is familiar to them. So any area being presented to you that you are not familiar, the mind will tell you, no, don't go. But if you want to be a businessman, you'll definitely not listen to what your mind is telling you. You'll go beyond and question your mind. Why are you not telling me to go for it? Confirmation bias. Once we fear business, we only look for stories of failed businesses because we want to justify our fear. We ignore successful entrepreneurs. Our brain searches for evidence supporting our existing beliefs. Because this business failed, our brain structures itself to look for evidence to confirm that actually it was a failed business. Social proof. We often decide based on what other people are doing. But have you ever asked yourself, what have I been brought on this earth for? Are you here to follow other people, or you are here to make other people follow you? If you are a follower of other people, then definitely you will always go with what they say. If everyone fears entrepreneurship, we begin fearing it too. That means you will never start a business because you are following what everyone is telling you. Instead of just listening to yourself, composing yourself, and making your informed decision based on what you want for your future, not what everyone else is doing. Remember, you don't necessarily need to belong to the 99% of the population. Think for you to be extraordinary, exclusive, so that you belong only to the 1% of the population. The 1% are the people who ask themselves questions beyond the normal. So, are you 99% or you are the 1%? Question for you. So, the few that belong to the 1% of the population are the people who go beyond the norm. They have high tolerance of uncertainty. They don't know about the future, but because they have good information that is speaking to them about the future, they will tend to go for that future. They'll tend to decide towards the future. High tolerance for uncertainty. They have growth mindset because I will start a small business, I will earn small, but over time, I will generate more income, endless income. Hence, I want to grow. That is a growth mindset. They are so independent that they are not swayed by other people. So they don't listen to the 99% of the population. They don't listen to the neighbors or friends. They listen to what they believe in. They are so resilient to an extent that they are ready to fail, fail again, and fail, to endure the pain, to endure the trial until they succeed. They are curious. Their curiosity to question, ask, research, get data, decide, is what is propelling them towards making a difficult decision that majority are not making that decision. They believe in themselves. They don't listen to others for them to drive what they believe in. They are self-driven, they are self-confident. The confidence they have within themselves propels them to making independent decisions. And finally, they are also looking at the long-term goal. They are not people who just think here. Hence, you might offer them $500,000. They will tell you no. Based on my, principles and my future and how I see my business, I don't want to take that 500,000 because it's just money that will come in once and disappears. Then what if I invest slowly by slowly, my 100,000? I invest slowly by slowly, and over time, I'll be converting that 500,000 you are offering me every day, every month. That is long-term thinking. Now, what is that one idea you had, never executed? Take a minute and think about it. It's because you have been influenced by this psychology of decision. You are being ruined by what your mind is telling you. Because the mind is so reserved that it only gives you what it thinks works for you. But because you know where you want to go, you know what you want to achieve, you know the responsibilities ahead of you, you know the levels you want to climb, will you just be normal and settle for the average? So, what is that one idea you had but never executed, and why? Some people say, I don't have capital. Some will say, it's because of fear. I just don't feel like I don't have time to just do that business. I have so much responsibilities on my family, and once it is eating into my capability to, doing the business. Others will say, I actually don't have the skills to run that business. And many will say, I don't want to do that business because the competition is just too tight. Yeah, I will not make it because I don't want to compete with my neighbors. Don't want to compete with other businessmen on the market. And of course, others will say, I don't have the market. I don't know where I'll sell those products. The economy is doing bad, so there's no market for it. Is capital really problem? Or we just fear losing that capital itself? Let us have the urge to go beyond what the mind is suggesting to us. We think that way, it means we will go further, we'll go far, because we are questioning the comfort zone of the suggestions of our mind, and hence we will overcome the average psychology of our brain. Now, there are a few frameworks for better decision making in business, at home, in management, anything you are doing that calls for you to decide. First, gather facts, not assumptions. Look at the facts and decide based on those facts. Step two, separate emotions from evidence. You know, half the time we let our emotions speak louder than the information we are evaluating. So consider the evidence and suppress your emotions. That way, you'll make the right decision. Three, calculate the worst possible outcome. What is the worst that can happen? That will help you now start from there as the base. If you just think of the average, you will not get to the deeper end of it. So most fear shrinks when clear information is defined. The more you get clarity, the more you suppress that fear. Hence, it's important to calculate the limits. What is the worst that can happen? And what is the best that can happen? Calculate the best possible outcome. People often underestimate opportunity simply because of overlooking or brushing over it. When you get an opportunity, think about the worst and the best. Then, when you are informed, you'll suppress the fear that will be propelling you against. Hence, you'll make the right decision. And lastly, decide. Just start. Start and learn on the go, just along the journey. Successful entrepreneurs don't wait for a perfect certainty. They don't wait for perfect opportunity. They don't wait for the perfect moment. The moment an idea is there, the opportunity is there, they decide to start. As you start, you will learn on the go. You will fail, but you're not failing so that you stop. You're failing so that you can learn. You're failing so that you can gain experience. You're failing so that you can propel yourself. You're failing so that you can get the right path to move forward, not to fail. Let's ask ourselves these questions, and probably it will help us now compose ourselves towards the rightful, positive decision making. What decision, what decision in the business are you postponing today? You have a business, you've been wanting to do something, but you keep on postponing it. What fear is controlling that decision? You want to make an official trip, but you have some fear inside you. If failure was impossible, what action are you going to be taking in your business? What action are you going to be taking in your affairs? What action are you going to be taking in your current job? Are you choosing comfort or are you choosing growth? These are very important questions that we need to ask ourselves. Hence, it will propel our psychology of decision making. The quality of your business is often determined by the quality of your decision. How you decide will affect your business, will affect your job, will affect your relationship. Decide appropriately and have the proper knowledge about the psychology of decision making. Lastly, confidence doesn't always come before action. Often it grows because of action. Do not wait to gain confidence before you act. Start. Start small. Be consistent, but try every single day. That way, you're building confidence. That confidence will propel the more actions you take going forward. This is the psychology of decision making. And I believe you have learned something. In our life, we live by making decisions. The decision we make affects our life, affects the people around us, affect others who are not even related to us, who are not close to us, affects the entire nation. Let us study the psychology of decision making so that we make the right decision, not because of the comfort of what the brain is proposing to us, but because of the conviction of what we want to achieve in future. It's because of what you want to achieve that will propel how much, how fair, how positive or negative you make your decisions. Ladies and gentlemen, we learn every single day. I hope you have learned something today. This is Sylvester, and we are coming from the Akunda Secret. Thank you.